Hello, this is Caden Cubensis. Let's get ready to talk some mushrooms. I got Paul Stamets' book here, Psilocybin Mushrooms in Their Natural Habitat, and we're going to be talking about the stoned ape theory today, and possibly giving some thoughts, or we will be giving some thoughts of my own at the end. So let's get right into this. I'll put the page up on screen here so that you can follow along if you'd like. We have the stoned ape theory, which is basically, if you don't know, it's the theory that we evolved from monkeys using psilocybin mushrooms. So if you'd like to learn more about that, here we go. Let's get right into this. The Stoned Ape Theory by Terence and Dennis McKenna. So here we go. The Stoned Ape Theory. Terence and Dennis McKenna popularized the Stoned Ape Theory in the 1990s. The McKennas proposed that as climates changed, our bipedal ancestors had to adapt and innovate to survive in new habitats. The brothers credited the consumption of psilocybe cubensis with the sudden evolution of brain enlargement that resulted in Homo sapiens approximately 200,000 to 300,000 years ago. Because high doses of psilocybin sparked neurogenesis, now this hypothesis, once widely ridiculed, does not seem so far-fetched. Although, at the time they proposed this idea, it was just a hypothesis. Given the evidence we have today, I think it now qualifies as a theory worthy of serious consideration. When our bipedal ancestors left the forests to track megafauna in the grasslands, they would have likely encountered Psilocybe cubensis, growing from dung of cattle, zebras, antelopes, elephants, hippopotamuses, rhinoceroses, and possibly other African megafaunal herbivores. Those who have collected Psilocybe cubensis, aka golden top, can see the fruit bodies from hundreds of feet away. They are that obvious. When mushrooms grow on dung and sporulates, flies are attracted and lay eggs. Aging Psilocybe cubensis is often swarming with larvae, and since many primates eat maggots, this would have been seen as a potential source of nutrition. 22 species of primates, 23 when you count humans, consume mushrooms for food. In fact, the goldy monkey of the Bolivian Amazon consumes approximately 12 times its body weight per year in mushrooms. Many primates know which ones are edible and which ones to avoid. Did our primate ancestors devour mushrooms as they do today? They undoubtedly encountered these species, but did consuming psilocybin mushrooms stimulate enlargement of the primate brain? Our ancestors likely consumed psilocybin mushrooms many times over millions of years, making psilocybin a possible epigenetic neurostimulant, meaning new genetic factors for neurogenesis emerged. Through the mechanisms of epigenetics, external influences might influence gene expression to increase survival. Family and fellow gatherers could self dose for revelatory and entertaining communal purposes, trips, in addition to having nutritious meals. Would such encounters benefit the evolution of our primate ancestors' brains and confer new neural connections? Scientists continue to compete by postulating theories on how and why the cranial volume of our early ancestors expanded by a factor of 2 or 3 in less than 200,000 years to reach the size and complexity of our brains today. Our species, Homo sapiens, evolved relatively recently. The McKennas speculated that by repeatedly ingesting psilocybin mushrooms, new neurons formed, enlarging brain capacity, which allowed our ape like ancestors to develop new skill sets for survival. I think this untested hypothesis should be elevated to a testable theory. It seems even more plausible, since new research has shown that psilocybin and other closely related tryptamines increased nerve growth in pluripotent human stem cells. We also now have evidence that psilocybin binds to neuroreceptors and stimulates neurogenesis, neurogeneration, and neuroplasticity. In their time and to this day, however, the McKenna's hypothesis was roundly criticized by scientists in various fields as ridiculous, merely a stoner's dream. Naive critics venture expert opinions limited by the lack of firsthand psychedelic education. So, what do we take away from that? There's obviously some research that shows psilocybin mushrooms helps with neurogenesis, helps connect new stem cells in your brain, and it helps with brain connection and ways of thinking. I know this personally too. I've had a lot of experiences with psychedelics, and I could tell you personally, this is very true. It opens up your ways of thinking. It gives you a new perspective on life. It gives you a new way of thinking about things that you wouldn't have been able to think about that thing before. Like, for instance, your phone. Um, you look at your phone like, oh, it's just a phone. Like, this is just how I communicate with people, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, when you take shrooms and you trip on shrooms and you try to use your phone, it becomes try to take your brain back 10,000 years. So you're like a Homo sapien, you're freaking chipping rocks with other rocks, trying to make tools, and you're making wooden tools and you're fishing for survival. And you got like your monkey kids or whatever. Okay. This is you 10,000 years ago. Imagine having a phone back then. You wouldn't even have use for it. There would be no use for having a phone 10,000 years ago. So to even try to process the thought of a phone while you're tripping on shrooms, since it technically takes your mind back like 10,000 years, so that you see the entire world for everything that it actually is, you can't fathom a phone. You can't fathom what a phone could even do. Because what is it doing? It's having us communicate with each other. Okay, but what if it's 10,000 years ago and there's nobody that you need to communicate with? What is the point of a phone? Weird thought there. I kind of want to rant, but that kind of helps explain the stoned ape theory. New ways of thinking. I came up with that when I was tripping on shrooms. So obviously, if you take shrooms, you're going to come up with a new way of thinking about something that you wouldn't have thought about it before. Basically, expanding your brain, creating new pathways or whatever. Anyways, that's the stoned ape theory. Um, Part of Paul Stamets' new book. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment if you have any questions, or just leave your thoughts down there. And thanks for watching. I'll try to have another video uploaded sometime. Thanks. Bye.